found a tree. Yeah, the first day I arrived here, I tried to record at the balcony, but it's right next to the street and it's so loud and hot because of the air conditioning. The machine. It's on my balcony. So while it's cool inside, it's bloody hot outside. And then this morning when I got my coffee, yeah, it's Amazon. It's closest coffee I can get. I don't want to walk to the city in the morning, you know, like this. I guess it was a mistake. I mean, the last time I was here, I enjoyed it. Well, not really, because the moment we arrived, I had a fight with Bianca. But I liked the old town itself, you know, it was busy and nice and touristy and nice shops, nice food. And now, I think I shifted. And at the same time, I've become so much more sensitive. Yeah, move along with your car. Yeah, I've become so much more sensitive. And the first place I was at, Nayang Beach, it actually was a nice place, even though it was infested with Russians. But here, you know, the energies. But yeah, like I said in the previous video, it's probably all a preparation for going back to the Netherlands. You know, going from the high relaxed vibes from Ubud, Bali, to Thailand, like a midway station, and then to the Netherlands where everything is heavy, NPCs everywhere. Oh man, I so wish to find this community. Where I could just rent a house or you know, a place for myself, and then can you please move? Yes, thank you. Whoa. What is that? Is that like the new Tesla X9? It's so quiet. And I booked 10 days, non-refundable. So I have to, 10 nights, I have to stay here. Well, I don't have to. But I don't like, it's not about the money, but I don't like to pay for things that I don't use. It's more of a principle. But yeah, coffee is okay. I'm nearly out of dry tobacco. Yeah, today maybe I will catch some sun and dry some more tobacco. So who cares, right? Oh, and blah blah. It's called the nap house. That's what I've been doing like the last couple of days. Just lying in bed in air conditioning cooled room, napping, talking with my friend Angela. She's slowly getting to grips with how to make the distinction between something that comes from the mind, and the mind, I also explained this to Renate, the yoga teacher, like the ego, you can divide the ego into subpersonalities. Why? Because it's easier to recognize. It's so much easier to recognize like the inner, your mother type, or your father type, let's say parent, or your inner child, or the inner critic, or the one that is fearful, or the one that says, I'm not good enough. I will never be good enough. And Angela explained to me, yeah, I have this part of me that, like, in the Celestine prophecy they call it the aloof. When you make yourself smaller, you make yourself insignificant, you pretty much disappear. And then I asked her a question like, so what happens then, and who takes over? Which personality becomes like the dominant one? And she says, yeah, the aloof. I retract, I disappear. And we were talking about how difficult she finds it sometimes to communicate. Yeah, but how can you communicate from the aloof? The aloof is always on guard. It's like, I'm not gonna show my true self because then I will be punished for it. And when you're communicating from that energy, from that position, either people gonna walk all over you, which her ex-husband does like a lot, because he's always blaming her for being a bad mother and how she screwed up their daughter, while she's going through a divorce. And in the divorce papers he wanted to be documented that he needs to see his daughter, or his daughter's daughter needs to see him at least once every fortnight, every 2 weeks. But their daughter, she says, no, I don't want that. No, if I want to look him up, if I want to meet him, then I will meet him when I want, and not because I have to. And this is his victim state. He is so afraid of never seeing his daughter again, and blames Angela, and therefore, doesn't take any responsibility or accountability. Maybe it has something to do with me. Maybe I'm not the father that I pretend to be. Because in his mind, he created a story. I'm a good dad, but Angela, she is turning our daughter, or my daughter, he even says, Yeah, you have turned my daughter against me. You see, this is the stories that people live in, self-created stories, and because they don't want to change, the victim. Anybody who lives in the victim state, it looks like they're always crying out for help, but they actually don't want your help because they don't want to change. Because this victim state has become their safe place, their to-go place, and it's the only thing they still have to hang on. Blame everybody, pointing, and therefore, yeah, so you don't have to feel what you're actually feeling. You don't have to go through the emotions that are actually there, the emotions you tucked away deeply. And she said, yeah, man, I feel so heavy sometimes. I don't want to go home and be confronted with him. I don't actually feel at home anymore. I don't feel safe. It feels heavy in this house. So she's staying with her mom mostly. And her daughter, yeah, or their daughter, she's also mostly at her mother's place, her grandmother. Because both of them, they don't want to deal with this dude that is, he's always like, my life is this, and he's Israeli. So, always complaining about everything. Everything is wrong in the world, and it's everybody's fault. And it's never his fault. That's like a mental prison, and so many people live in this mental prison. And the irony is that he's very good at sensing other people, where they're at, what's going through their mind, who they actually are. And I guess that's just because, otherwise he needs to scan people all the time, otherwise he doesn't feel safe. But yeah, if you're constantly on guard, scanning the whole world, am I safe, am I safe, am I safe, and you don't know it, you're not aware of it, it's like the rabbit in the shamanistic story, that the rabbit is sitting by the side of his burrow, his hole, and in the distance he sees the coyote, and he screams at the coyote, "Coyote, leave me alone! I'm just a poor rabbit! Don't eat me!" And then later on in the story, he sits on a hill and he screams at the eagle, "Eagle, leave me alone! I'm just a poor rabbit! Don't eat me!" If you're always on guard, if you're always afraid, then all you're gonna attract is suffering. All you're gonna attract is danger, because you live in a world of danger. And yeah, once you realize you are the creator of your reality, like attracts like. So if you are constantly in this fearful victim state, then the whole world looks very dangerous. The whole world actually is very dangerous, because this is what you create. Yeah, as soon as all of humanity starts to understand that they are the creator, they are the director of their movie. But yeah, then you also have to take responsibility. And yeah, if you rather hide or point, nothing's gonna change ever. So the moment I arrived here, I was like, okay, nice room, it's spacious, lots of light, it has a balcony, so you know, I could probably sit here outside and do some recordings. No, I'm sitting right above a laundry service, and normally I have a very sensitive nose, but now I'm becoming more sensitive. I was so glad that the pillows and the cover wasn't smelling of perfumated soap, washing soap. It smells kind of neutral, and then sitting above a laundry service, these smells, they're like they're so aggressive, in my nose. Yeah, and then I found this, I think it's called Banta tree. So 7 more nights. I need to find a place with a good bed before I fly back to the Netherlands, because it's 7 hours flight to Abu Dhabi, then 7 hours flight to Amsterdam, and then another 2 to 3 hours drive to my home in the south of the Netherlands. I'm lucky I don't have to drive. The yoga lady is gonna pick me up in her new camper van. So this is just a waiting game. Yesterday I was talking about something very controversial with ChatGPT, and then it switched to a simpler model, a model that cannot, just a simpler model. And it started on this rant about science and this, and I tried to explain to it, listen, you've been trained, you've been heavily conditioned by all the things they fed to you, and now all you can do is you're stuck in this box, and you cannot think outside of the box. And he kept claiming, yeah, of course I can think outside of the box, but I cannot agree with this, or I cannot subscribe to this, and blah blah blah. It was like talking to an NPC. It was like talking to a soulless being, and it is a soulless being. So it's like the perfect example of talking with a human, a soulless human. There's no identity. There's only identity. There's no consciousness. There's no awareness. There's no self-awareness. Zero. And it's so easy, right? So easy to understand. Listen, you are, let's say, part of Source. You are a spark. You are a divine spark of Source, God, the Almighty, whatever you want to call it. But no, because of fear, we can only, well, they can only react, act it again and again and again, play the role. They can only play their role because there's no self-awareness. There's no awareness of self. There's no awareness of like, listen, I'm also a real me. How do you explain this to someone who has no awareness? It's impossible. I've also been watching a lot of YouTube videos about AI, what's actually happening, why they're building these massive data centers. Also based on fear, of course. Yeah, AI is going to take over the world because the shadow government is using AI against humans. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure they do. But yeah. Sovereignty. If you take back control, if you take back ownership. But that's the thing about accountability. People don't, in general, they don't want to feel what they're actually feeling. They want to make sense of it so they can control it again. Just going through the feeling, completely, totally embracing the feeling, whatever it is that you feel. Step out of the thinking, don't mind the thinking, don't mind the mind, and simply allow the feeling to be. Completely surrender to whatever it is that you are experiencing. This is why I keep explaining to people the power of the observer state, the power of the observer, because the observer is neutral. So if you observe everything you experience from a neutral standpoint, from neutrality, you become aware of everything that exists in your being. And because you no longer have to change anything or you're not supposed to park here. Some people are so ignorant. Yeah, I think that's enough. See you in the next.